One of two things is happening at this very moment right in front of our disbelieving eyes. It's one or the other. Either the American political system is experiencing a new height of voter fraud and election fixing, where states are banding together and entire political machines are seeking to fix the presidential election, not only for one party, but for both. And the entire system is close to collapse from within because the evidence is crystal on what is occurring. Or one of the candidates got caught with his campaigning pants down by not understanding the rules, believing he could blow right by them and bluff everyone into thinking the fix is in because otherwise he and his team would have to admit they had no idea what they were getting involved in and look stunningly inept in front of the American people. One or the other. Shall we begin? This is the Political Animal, where all questions are answered rationally and with facts, putting us on an entirely better level than the screamers and the finger pointers. He is the senior political contributor at Forbes, which accounts for the graying mane. Also co-host of Steele and Ungar on Sirius XM POTUS 124 weeknights at 6 p.m. Eastern, Rick Ungar. He is the former director of FEMA. After that, Lord knows why the man is in gray from head to toe. Shutting down the naysayers weekday afternoons at 6:30 KHOW in Denver, Colorado, 3 p.m. Mountain Time, Michael Brown. Gentlemen, welcome in. Mr. Brown, to you. Which one is the answer?
I'll tell you what. If Donald Trump wanted a zoning variance, he wanted some sort of construction permit, he would know and his team would know every single rule, detail. They'd know every member of the city council or the planning commission, and they would know how to work it. He simply did not pay attention to the rules. He got his butt beat. End of story. Next question.
But, Rick, is it not fair to say that he will come out and say this, and he has millions of people saying, yes, the fix is in, because, quite frankly, we've got voters sitting out there who don't trust the American government to basically come up with a tax for a cigarette, much less worry about what's happening with the fixes in the elections. People think the election's rigged right now.
Well, I heard that Michael Brown, being a critical part of the Colorado establishment, was personally responsible for rigging that election. So I think we need to get a little information there.
Yes, boy, I'll tell you, it's just the left every single time, the left, I'll tell you.
Yeah, me, Mr. Establishment.
Donald Trump has won 35% of the vote, yet somehow has 45% of the delegates. So if things are fixed, exactly how is Donald Trump being harmed by it?
But let's be honest again. There are people out there who will look at places like Arizona, Rick, and they will look at the disastrous primary that was going on there and the fact that you now have officials going, oh, wait a minute, we made a giant mistake. And they are going to say that the fix has got to be in somewhere. You can't get away from it, Rick, no matter how you hide.
That's actually a little bit different than the situation Trump is whining about. What happened in Arizona may speak directly to the state's effort to try and keep certain people from voting, thereby disenfranchising those they didn't want to vote. That is a very serious issue. It also happened in Wisconsin, by the way. They were just a bit quieter about it. So that separate topic, important issue. The efforts to disenfranchise voters is a very serious problem. But what Trump's complaining about is, hey, wait a second. I forgot to read the rules that have been out in Colorado since August, and I didn't send people there to campaign and lobby, and now I'm going to cry about it. It's just embarrassing. It's ridiculous. I don't want somebody who's that big of a crybaby running this country.
All right, here's something else that's embarrassing, Mr. Brown. Let's come to you. It has to be embarrassing to Paul Ryan at this point. Every single time he turns around, somebody says, when are you going to announce? When are you going to announce? Okay, look, finally today, and I want to use the word finally again, and I want to put this, you don't see it in big air quotes, got to be sitting right there. He says, I'm not for president. Don't look to me. I'm not going to run for president. Oh, Mike, do you really believe that if he's not called to the convention, he'll say no?
Well, look, tricky question you just asked.
Yes, I did. That's why I get the big bucks, brother. There you go.
If he is asked, there's no guarantee of what's going to occur. But Paul Ryan is smart enough to know that if we go to a contested open convention, which I believe that we will, somebody will win. If nobody wins on the first ballot, it's more likely, I mean, it increases odds by 50%. That someone will win on the second ballot. If that will be Cruz or Trump, they're going to win on the second, third, or fourth ballot. If we get to the point where someone puts up Paul Ryan and he says yes, here's something shocking news for everybody. It's still it is still up to the delegates. The delegates are the ones that vote. It's not the so-called establishment hiding in some back room that votes. It's the freaking delegates.
How dare you speak logic? We're going to have to put a stop to this. Okay, 60 seconds left. I got one for you here, Rick.
Very differently.
Hang on.
Can I answer that one?
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Paul Ryan means it this time, and I'll tell you why. Paul Ryan understands this is not going to be a Republican year. And he also understands that there's never been one party to control the White House for longer than 16 years. Paul Ryan will be the de facto leader of the Republican Party after this is all over in 2016. He's running, but he's running next time around.
Okay, I've only got a few seconds left then, thanks to Rick Ungar, who had to make sure that he got that in there. So I'm going to end on this one before we come back after the break. CBS News ran an interesting article today. If not Trump or Cruz, who? Meet the GOP alternatives. I only got a few seconds left for each of you. The last one, a hologram Ronald Reagan, a.k.a. Gipperbot. Mike, I got news for you. If Ronald Reagan ran today, quite frankly, there are those who would say that the current GOP would chase him out as fast as they could.
I don't know whether that's true or not, and I adore Ronald Reagan. I've got a picture of me and Reagan together in the Oval Office over my shoulder. But guess what? Reagan's been dead for quite a few years. Reagan's not coming back. Let's quit going back to this idea that we need a Ronald Reagan. We need somebody new. We need somebody fresh. The world has changed, for Pete's sake.
10 seconds, Rick Ungar. Go.
Ronald Reagan would be labeled a rhino today. He could not possibly get his party's nomination in this environment.
Oh, we are going to spend a half an hour on this one day. This will fire up. Misters Brown and Ungar shall return on the other side of a well-timed break. We will focus on why amateurs should never tell jokes in public and why to some people Gestapo is just another silly word. Oh, it's coming up next on The Hard Line.
Here's what I want you to know. Most of the guns that are used in crimes and violence and killings in New York come from out of state. And the state that has the highest per capita number of those guns that end up committing crimes in New York come from Vermont.
Oh, we're going to fact check this one. Let's get back to part two of The Political Animal. Welcome back, Rick Ungar and Michael Brown. Mr. Ungar, from the left, Hillary Clinton's statement right there about guns coming from Vermont. Oops. Let's see. 2013 and 2014, the states where the most number of out-of-state guns originated were Virginia, Pennsylvania, Florida, and Georgia. State with the most number of guns per 100,000 people was, indeed, Vermont. But, according to the Washington Post, who gave this three Pinocchios, 1% of crime guns whose sources were identified in 2014 originated from Vermont. 55 of over 4,500. Rick, come on, Hillary Clinton, she's scrambling right now, brother.
Look, she was playing a little game there, using the one figure you pointed out, where per 100,000. That's why she said per capita. But it was clearly intended to throw everybody off and try and say something that really isn't true.
And let's be very honest here. Would you not say, Mr. Brown, that she is perhaps just scrambling a little bit right now? Because, I mean, come on, weren't we told? Ungar's going to hate this one. Weren't we told that the Democrats never tell a lie?
Well, of course they never tell.
Who told you such a thing?
I don't know. It came into my left ears somewhere during the last 6 months. I'm not sure where.
That was a Democrat who lied to you.
And Democrats never tell a lie, just like lawyers never tell a lie unless their lips are moving.
I think we have a catch-22 here.
We really do. But look, I think Hillary is grasping at straws, and she's playing to what Bernie Sanders is actually accomplishing, and that is pushing the Democrat Party further and further left. If she can talk about guns and gun violence, that just riles up the base, and it doesn't make any difference about the facts. Just mention guns, crime, gun control, mission accomplished. Facts be damned.
Okay, here's a couple things. We only got 2 minutes. Let's get to this real quick here. Hillary Clinton and New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio left some people cringing when they told a joke on stage. They used the reference to running on CP time, which to many people means running on the stereotypical colored people time. Hillary Clinton fired back, "Oh no, cautious political time. I've been there." Oh, come on, Rick. This is, first of all, you're not a comedian. Don't try to be a professional. And second of all, this is just ridiculous. Or, wait a minute. Is it a knee jerk? You first, Rick.
I keep going back and forth. I got to be honest with you. I mean, I totally understand people who were offended by it. At the same time, part of me says, lighten up. There was a black actor up on the stage with them. Bill de Blasio was married to a black woman who wasn't 3 feet away from him, and if she had been offended, she would have smacked him over the head. I kind of see both sides on this one. I'm having trouble making up my own mind.
15-second answer to you then, Mr. Brown?
Oh my God, I hate to say this, but I agree 100% with Rick on this one. I think it's like overreaction. As he points out, there was a black actor on the stage. De Blasio's married to a black woman. And frankly, when they said CP and running on CP time, I thought they meant Colorado people because we've legalized weed and we can't keep track
You're
of
so out
time.
of touch.
I have lived
so
there.
out of touch,
I
Brown.
know exactly what you're talking about. That's perfect. And by the way, this just every time I hear something like this, I think of the legendary words of Sergeant Hulko, who said, "Lighten up, Francis." We'll see who gets that reference right away. 60 seconds. I got to get you both on this one. Katrina Pearson, the mouthpiece for Donald Trump, defended using the term Gestapo tactics, saying, "Oh, it's just a word." And you're talking about a campaign that doesn't care much for political correctness. Brownie, I got to tell you something. It's despicable. It's insulting. I don't give a damn who you are, but everybody on the planet knows what Gestapo means. And that's just disgusting that they would even try for 1 moment, 1 second, to try and justify this.
Absolutely. Himmler would be so proud of Katrina. And I've got to say, I listened to another news anchor today attack her on that. Not attack her, just tried to get her to pull it back some, and she wouldn't pull it back. And I thought to myself, are you that ignorant of what the word means, or are you really stuck on that and you really believe what you mean? Either way, it bumfuzzles me.
Don't we just have to, I mean, Rick, I only got 30 seconds here, but look, come on. There are certain things you just don't cross here, and that's one of them. It's been done before, so in essence, why should we even be surprised at the answer?
Now, I wasn't surprised, and her response is precisely the response I would expect from Katrina Pearson. I have a little sympathy for her. Her job is to defend these outrageous things her boss says. That's just the best she could come up with.
It's just a shame that we have to get to this point because, look, if you want Donald Trump, that's fine. We get it. We're not telling you don't vote for him, but come on. Certain lines you don't cross.
Well, I am.
I got news for you. Well, of course, you are. We know that already. That goes without saying.
Michael Brown will tell you not to vote for him, too, I'll bet you.
We're going to just go ahead and sit here one day just for like 5 minutes and just have fun with all of this. We could go on forever. Michael Brown, Rick Ungar, gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate your time. And don't forget, Sirius XM POTUS 124 for Rick Ungar, 630 KHOW Denver, Colorado for Michael Brown.